Namaste, Joya Soul family. Welcome to your Myo-Yin practice. My name is Lisa Jang. For today's practice, you'll need a couple of even-sized yoga blocks. You'll also need maybe a bolster if you have one. A pillow will suffice from your bed. A blanket is always nice to have for your practice. And for today, because it's Myo-Yin, you'll need 2 even-sized massage balls. If you don't have that, grab 2 even-sized tennis balls. We're going to go ahead and just take the balls out of the tote. So if you have them in your tote, you can go ahead and just release those because we'll be using them out of their tote today. So I'm going to have that ready to go. Make sure these massage balls don't roll away. They tend to roll away from me when I do my practice. So I'll kind of set the myofascial release balls on top of something so that it catches it so it doesn't move. We're going to start off in supine butterfly pose. I'm going to have your head more so elevated above your heart space. So grab your 2 blocks and then place them behind or underneath the pillow, like so. Now, if you don't have 2 blocks, 2 pillows will suffice. Maybe create a T. The one's going to be underneath is going to be horizontal, one on top, like so. You can make one kind of staggered, one longer behind, and that might work for you. But I'm going to take my blocks and set them up for my supine butterfly pose as I'm here. Placing my sacrum right behind the bolster, and I'm going to slowly lay myself down. My feet today are going to land sole to sole. And if you do have a blanket, you may want to make a little bit of a burrito with your blanket. I'm going to just roll it up nice and lightly here. And then from here, I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of pat up the joints as I'm here. Kind of over my feet, underneath my ankles, so that it's not on the floor, the wood floor. I'm pulling the free ends in towards the inner groin, slowly laying down. Take your palms facing up, close your eyes. Take a moment here just to notice how you're feeling today. So a moment here just to arrive. Notice how your body is feeling this very moment in time. Might be feeling exhausted, maybe from a really busy day at work, or maybe a busy weekend, wherever you're coming from. And then take a moment just to notice that with a kind eye. Taking a few cycles of breath there, really tuning in to your breathing and towards your body. And if, as you're here, setting an intention and a sankalpa is part of your practice, you may want to set that as you begin to settle in and find a nice, easy breath. Right? So my intention for you today for this class is to kind of release around the hips and the glutes. So this area tends to carry a lot of tension, a lot of maybe stagnation. So just notice maybe as you're here, right side, left side. Notice if maybe the energy is a little stagnant more towards one side than the other. Without changing it or without trying to push it aside or numb the sensation, just be aware of it. Have that capacity to hold this with a sense of tenderness, whether it's directly into the area where you're feeling maybe a lot of stiffness or even holding a lot of motion in it, or maybe sitting beside it, so that you can hold a space for it with care. As you're ready, take another slow deep in breath and a slow deep out breath. Let's go ahead, as you're ready, slowly draw the knees up so your soles of feet are down towards the earth. Releasing your burrito roll with a blanket if you have out there. And take a moment here just to feel the earth with your feet. A moment to feel the nourishment of the earth. Take a slow deep in breath and a slow, deep, decompressing out breath. From here, roll towards any side. So I'm going to roll towards the screen. You can roll towards your screen. And then gently start to press yourself all the way up. So from here, this is where we grab our myofascial release tool, our massage ball. And you may want to sit on your blanket, or you may want to sit on a block for this one. Let's start off with the calves and move up and towards the hip area. So it'll be a really quick release in the calves. I'm going to take my blanket so that it's nicely folded so I can sit on that, so my sitting bones are not jarring against the hardwood floor. Then from here, I'm going to go ahead and take a block underneath my left leg. My right leg is forward. And then I'm going to take one of the myofascial release tools right behind the calf. So try to go behind the large meaty part of your calf as you're here. And if you feel like you need a little bit more, this is where you can place something underneath that ball. But for me, this is just enough. So just underneath the ball, meaning here, I'm going to grab the block and I'm going to place my foot, my leg onto the ball with the block. And then once you're ready, go ahead and slowly start to roll your chest down towards your thigh into this half butterfly pose. So your hands are framing your right foot. And as you're here, you might want to invite some movement. You'll notice I'm flexing the foot and then pointing my foot. You can hear the snap, crackle, pop on my ankle joint. And it feels good. It's a normal thing. And then you may want to just kind of, as you're here, internally rotate that right leg and externally rotate that right leg. So you get a little bit more release in towards more the inside of the calf and the outside of the calf there. So notice how the ball rolls. You can even kind of move that leg a little bit side to side. But as you're ready, go ahead and just find a little bit of stillness as you're here. Relax through the base of your neck. And feel the tug and pull in towards your hamstring as you're here. And it's not too little. It's not too much, but just the right amount. Now, if the sensation has moved a little bit, I'm going to follow that sensation. So now the ball's a little bit more towards the inner calf area, and I'm feeling like it's hitting a trigger point, which feels really healing, really good. That might mean your hands go inside your right foot there instead of framing the foot like we did earlier. So you generate a little bit more load in towards the inside of your calf. For more central calf, you're here. For more outer calf there, you can move your leg a little bit towards that left corner of your mat and take your hands over towards the outside, towards your right. So you choose what works best for you. We've got 3 more cycles of breath there, which is about 30 seconds. So allow your quad, your thigh muscle to soften. Allow your hip crease to soften. Take one more slow, deep in breath. As you breathe out, take your time to slowly come out. And as always, feel free to stay in this myofascial release, this pose, if this is something that feels really nice for you. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and head to second side. So I'm going to take a moment here just to do a little bit of a rebound or a little bit of kind of a reset. And with my legs forward, I'm noticing as I do my forward fold that my right leg is longer than my left. So you might notice that as well. Probably notice a length difference there. And already feeling a nice change. I'm going to take the block underneath my right thigh to half butterfly. And I'm going to set my myofascial release tool underneath my left calf. Find an area where it feels good for you. So some of you might be a little bit closer towards the Achilles tendon, which is kind of this ropey tendinous part. I'm moving more towards the meaty part of my calf. Now for me, I went on a little bit of a hike yesterday, 3-mile hike, so I'm really enjoying this nice myofascial release and towards my calf. So I'm going to start off more central. My hands are framing that left foot. I'm just moving that left foot into pointing and then flexing. And then as I'm ready, I'm going to go ahead and once again kind of internally rotate that leg and a little bit of external rotation of the leg, meaning I'm moving that thigh bone in and out. And the ball may move with you, so it might move more towards the outer part of your leg there. It might move more towards the inside of the leg. You can even kind of make almost like a cross fiber type of motion from side to side. But I do recommend for you to go slow for the win. Just ease on in towards that left leg and really let your right thigh relax. From here, see if you can find stillness again, just like we've done on side number 1. And again, just allow your shoulders to soften down and away from your ears, hands just kind of on the floor, feeling the earth below you. Closing your eyes. And notice as you're here, if you're starting to engage, be a little bit overly ambitious. Sometimes with myofascial release, when we add the element, we tend to maybe be overzealous, very ambitious into eradicating tissue tension. But see if you can pull away from that ambition and just allow the tissues to slowly release that stagnation and maybe some fascial adhesions slowly on its own as you slowly tempo into this myofascial release. Once again, I'm kind of sensing it needs to go in a new spot, right? So I've already worked more towards the middle calf. I'm going to work more towards the inside of the calf there and moving my hands inside that leg, finding that I kind of need that area to be looked after. Now, if at any time this is even still too much for you with the ball on the floor, place your blanket or towel on top of the ball. It'll lessen the intensity. You've got about 30 more seconds here to go. Your half butterfly and your calf release. Sorry, Yin pose is half butterfly. The myofascial release is the calf. Take one more slow deep in breath. And a slow deep out breath. Take your time to come all the way back up. And I'm going to go ahead and release that ball. Once again, bring both legs forward. You might want to lean back, kind of move those legs around. You might want to just measure as you're here. This one's going to be fairly fresh because we just rolled it. But you'll notice that they should be of equal length now. Take a slow deep in breath to everything that you're feeling and towards the tissue change and all the sensations, the energy moving through those legs, through the calves especially. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and work into the front of the hip. So have that pillow handy. That's going to be nice underneath your rib. I'm going to move the blanket aside because I won't need that for now. And we're going to head in towards the TFL. So I'm going to give you a little show. Feel for your frontal hip points here. That's the bony part of your hips. And then take your fingers down an inch and out. There's a little pocket there called the TFL. And if you internally rotate the knees in, like this is like a goal, the goalie in hockey, right? Internally rotate those legs. Kind of fold down. You might feel it pop out. I find it will pop out for me if I'm sitting this way again, touching this area, leaning forward, and then rolling in. You'll notice that muscle will pop out. That's the TFL. We're gonna take the other ball. I'm gonna use the other ball because it's not warm, like we just used the calf one. The ball right into that TFL area. And then as I'm here, I'm gonna roll not prone, not fully down, but slightly on the angle. So notice I'm rolling slightly on the angle. I'm gonna place the pillow right underneath my rib cage. And then I'm kind of like 45 degrees as I'm here. And then I'm gonna place my elbow down towards the ground. I can lift my head, so you do the same, or you can take your head and rest it in towards your hand. I'm gonna start my timer here for this myofascial release, okay? So we're in half frog, half sphinx pose, and the ball is on that TFL area. So go ahead and stay where you're at. I'm gonna give you another kind of demonstration here, another show. Again, the ball's gonna be right over here. We're laying down, not completely prone, off to 45 degrees, right? Not on the hip crease. This is gonna be too hard on the hip crease, just underneath it, a little bit more laterally, okay? The pillow will help compensate, will help with some of that pressure too. So if your pillow is too soft, put 2, because this is quite an intense release. Really good for the IT band, which is right below it. So from here, I have my right toes tucked, and I'm just kind of scrubbing the tissue, and it's not a big movement. Notice it's just like a little bit of up and down, kind of oscillating up and down. And then as I'm ready, as your body's ready, you may want to just go ahead and bend your right leg and begin to move that leg, wag that tail side to side. And again, if it's too much, put that towel on top of that ball, because this for a lot of folks is quite demanding in the tissues. Again, I've been doing this for a long time, so for my tissues, I was very much used to this myofascial release. So again, maybe you're a little bit more kind of hanging out here. You may want to just kind of stay into one area, one angle where you feel the right amount of pressure. That's right for your body. For me today, I'm just going to keep it a little more light. I'm just going to extend my right leg out as I'm here. I'm going to kind of just lean back a little bit more, heading more towards the back of that tensor fascia lata, that TFL region. Breathe in, and then breathe out. You've got another minute here to go. So once again, if you feel like this is a myofascial release, maybe something novel for you that you never knew in your body that needed that awareness, that attention, right? Then you may want to kind of stay here and just be curious and investigate that area and place your video on pause and then come back in and press play when you're ready to move forward in your practice. Otherwise, 3 more cycles of breath. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Again, deep inhale. Deep exhale. And one more time, deep inhale. And deep exhale. As you're ready, slowly and gently start to press yourself up off the myofascial release ball, or kind of scooch it off the side, or press all the way up, safe to come out of this pose. A little tongue-tied here. Let me reset. I'm going to move the bolster off the side. I'm going to stay on this side first, and I'll head to the other side. But we're heading to figure 4. Figure 4 pose, right ankle over left thigh, and I'm going to take the myofascial release tool onto my glute here. So I like it more towards the side glute area. There's a lot of hip stabilizers, but feel free to kind of search the area. This one you can't really go wrong. Okay. So land down, move this off to the side, lift your hips, one ball, right glute. Okay. And then as you're ready, you might stay here. I'm going to take my right ankle over my left thigh, so I have my yin posture. Now, as I'm here, I'm going to lean in towards the ball. So notice I'm going to lean in, a little pressure, and then I start to lean back to neutral. A little bit of compress, and then release. This one you should be feeling already. A lot of us have really tight glutes, especially if you have it more. I'm going to move it a little bit further out, laterally towards that kind of outer part of the glute there. This is the glute medius and glute minimus. These are hip stabilizers. So I'm feeling a lot more there. Take your time just to investigate that area as you're here. And feel free as you're here, press into the left foot, and you'll notice that I'm kind of making little circles as I'm here. So you may want to kind of coordinate some of that movement. It might be too much coordination for you. You might want to just stay down towards the earth. Choose something that really works for you today. Now I'm going to take a moment just to kind of stay where I'm at. I'm really kind of just leaning into the massage ball. And I'm staying into the external rotation of this right leg, this right hip. So it feels good. If you want, and this is an option, complete option, if you want to come to figure 4 pose, releasing the ball and just come into the yin posture and hold behind the left thigh or the left shin bone instead, you're more than welcome to. And I have about another minute and 10 seconds here in this pose. So that's what I'm going to do. So 2 minutes, I've done a myofascial release on the glute. And then for the last minute, I'm just going to hold this pose. Again, feel free to stay on the massage ball. But again, try to be less ambitious about eradicating any tissue tension. Just kind of get some circulation in towards the glutes. Got 2 more cycles of breath there. Enjoy the sensations of myofascial release, or even the shape of figure 4. Breathe in towards the right side of your hip, the right side of your low back. As you're ready, slowly release your figure 4. Maybe release the ball if you have that there. Take a moment here, reset your feet down towards the earth, and then just knee dips from side to side. Just releasing the front of your pelvis, maybe the front of your right hip especially. And you may want to stay and linger into like a mini savasana for a bit as you're here. But for time purposes, I'm going to move on to the second side. Okay? So, as you're ready, I'm going to just measure first because I like to measure. Okay, my right leg is super long compared to my left. I love measuring. Okay, so I'm going to grab my bolster. I'm going to do it with my TFL release. Okay. So again, TFL, not the hip crease, right? Below, an inch below and an inch towards your left. I like to kind of hold the ball there and then slowly kind of come on down onto my TFL, that massage ball. And then I have my bolster underneath my rib cage, and I'm going to slide this right thigh up into recovery position. Okay, 3 minutes begins here. So for a moment, let your left leg simply land on the myofascial release tool. Okay, so slowly tempo in. Again, as I'm here, I lay straight down. I'm not going to get that TFL. I have to be a little bit more 45 degrees. So wiggle around a little bit, find that 45 degrees. And I'm finding I need this blanket for my knee here. It's right against the floor. It doesn't feel good. So I'm going to place that blanket underneath. I feel a little bit more cushioning towards that bone. Now, once again, I'm going to tuck that left toe because I'm ready. And I'm going to kind of just do this little squeegee up and down. You can do, by all means, you can do little circles if you like, if you can coordinate that movement. For me, it's just a little bit too much coordination. I just kind of, just the up and down feels good, good enough at least. And then what I do like to do is that pin and stretch, right? That little pin and stretch with that leg. You can extend and bend that leg. This is the stretch position. And then from the stretch position, this is where I'm gonna wag the leg bone from side to side. And as I do this, I can really feel that pressure, especially if I bring that leg behind me. This is internal rotation of the hip. I can really feel that, and that TFL really allows that to kind of pop up. Just like I showed you earlier how to feel where the TFL is. You're sitting down and you roll the toes in. That's internal rotation, the femur bones, and you press and it pops out. Well, this leg going back here, that's doing the same thing. So kind of popping out that tissue in towards the ball, which feels a little bit more challenging for the tissue, but it's not too much where my body's going into fight or flight. You have another minute here to go. So see if you can breathe a little bit more generously. Notice if the breath is a little bit more challenge in this one. Take 2 more cycles of breath there. One more slow deep in breath. And as you breathe out, go ahead and release that leg all the way down. Again, safely come out of the myofascial release, the massage ball. And then from here, we're gonna go ahead and scooch the pillow aside, and we're gonna lay into our back. So figure 4 pose. I'm gonna lay this way so that you guys can see my left glute, okay? Anywhere on the left glute, lift your hips, left side. Left ankle over right thigh as you're here. And take a moment here, so you might need to move the ball a little bit further down, a little bit more lateral way towards the left side. Ooh, I found something. That's a good spot. So this is where you want to be like, oh, this is interesting. I didn't know that was there. And then as you're ready, just go ahead and lean in. I'm gonna go slow on this one. And then lean back. So my left side is my more stronger side, but also it's a little bit more stiff. The tissues are a little bit more stiff. So notice how slow I'm going. I'm just leaning in, and then I'm leaning out. Lean in, and lean out. Again, feel free to reset the ball if it's moved, or if you want to find a new area. And then again, you may want to kind of make a little side-to-side motion, a little circular motion around that glute area. But again, go slow so that you can get more into the deeper fascia as opposed to more of the superficial, more of the top layer. Really nice to go slow. Now, once again, we're halfway through this one. So I'm gonna decide to either stay on the ball. You can stay on the ball if you like. I'm gonna, since I did it on the other side, figure 4 for the rest of the pose. I'm gonna put the ball aside, and then I'm gonna do figure 4. So I might stay here, or I might lift my legs and reach my hands through the window of my legs. Breathe in towards your left glutes. Some work next door, so I can hear some of the work that they're doing. That's like part of the everyday practice, right? We've got distractions, and we have to kind of hone into our practice and just breathe, right? So 10 seconds. Again, feel free to press pause, really, if you really enjoy that myofascial release. Otherwise, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna grab the 2 massage balls, 1 final release, and then we head to Shavasana. So the 2 even-sized balls on either side of your sacrum. That's that triangular bone at the base of your spine, as you're here. So not the glutes, this is the other side of the SI joints, the sacral area. Lay on down, lift your hips, place the balls on either side of the sacrum. Take a moment here to just pause, okay? Take a slow, deep in-breath and a slow, deep out-breath. This might be something you just want to hang out in for the rest of Shavasana, right? Or for a majority of it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna use my thigh bones just to lean side to side like a rudder of a boat. So I lean towards that left SI joint and then towards that right SI joint. I lean and I lean. Good. Breathe in towards the back rim of your pelvis. I'm deciding just to stay neutral now. Just allowing time to do its work. Again, this might be something you want to investigate. You might want to bring the balls a little bit higher. I just did that. It's more the top rim of my pelvis. It feels really nice. But as you're ready, we're going to go ahead and shift into Shavasana. Release your myofascial release tools and lay on down onto your mats. Place your balls aside. As you're here, you may want to place a bolster in your legs, whatever you like. You may want to place something to cover your eyes for Shavasana. But take a few cycles of breath here. And then my advice is, my recommendation is about 5, at least minimum 5 minutes in Shavasana, final rest and relaxation. Otherwise, this is where I leave you in the practice today. So hopefully this one was valuable for you and that you'll come back to this time and time again, especially if you need to release around the hips, the legs. Right? But I really am grateful for you all for tuning in, for being part of the Joyous Soul Family Tribe. So thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you in our next session. My name is Lisa Jang. Namaste.